Hello, history buffs. Ready for a journey back? Look at this encampment. The spirit of 76 is alive.
Freedom of future. A true patriot savors these moments, but the fight for liberty calls. To the encampment for freedom of future.
For liberty. This is what American patriotism is all about. Look at these flags. They represent our fight for liberty.
The hour our liberty is at hand. For freedom is proper. Secure our liberty. My fellow patriots, the hour of decision is upon us. Let us march forth with courage to secure our liberty.
Welcome to my colonial home. Today, Del Payne's work captures the spirit of we fight for independence. And our freedom. Greetings from the encampment. The spirit of liberty is strong. We will fight for our rights and our freedom.
Hour is late. You must enact. To the encampment for liberty. Works through every change and challenge. We stand at the dawn of liberty, unshaken by the trials ahead. Soldiers, the enemy is near. Front line, flapping.
So-called anti-weaponization fund. It was going to compensate people who say the federal government weaponized the legal system against them. It's been blocked by the courts, met with opposition from Republicans
and Democrats
in Congress and Democrats.
Excuse me, mostly Democrats.
Mostly
some
Democrats and some Republicans.
Some. Very few Republicans.
Just to be very clear, are you backing off the fund completely, as your acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has said, or are you looking for another avenue to revive the fund?
So let me explain what the fund is. People have been hurt so badly by radical left lunatics that work for the Biden administration and Sleepy Joe. They're vicious, they're violent, what they did to people. And of course, they went after me more than anybody else. They raided Mar-a-Lago and all the other things. But people have been badly hurt. They've committed suicide. They've lost their jobs, they've lost their families, they've lost their wives, they've lost everything. They've lost everything over a fake weaponization of government. Now,
so
let me just tell you.
Are you looking for a way to revive it?
Well, look, if it was up to me, I'd pay them the kind of money that they deserve. People have been destroyed. Lives have been destroyed. Many suicides. Think of it. People have committed suicide because a bunch of thugs went after them. So, me, personally, I think the weaponization fund is a great idea. And so do many other Republicans. You have to get it approved. If they get it approved, that's great. If they don't get it approved, I'd be disappointed.
All right, we're going to motor through this.
But you have to understand, people have been destroyed by crooked politicians, and they should be reimbursed for that.
Do you think anyone who attacked police officers on January 6th should get taxpayer money?
I wouldn't be inclined to say so, but I have to see it. I can tell you this, 97% of those people, you look at them, the FBI or whoever it was, because you had a lot of crooked cops, you had dirty cops. Comey was a dirty cop.
Well,
a guy like Bolton was a dirty cop.
But there's no evidence.
Wait a minute. Oh, you think Comey was a straight cop?
People who pleaded guilty to assaulting police
Comey
officers.
was a dirty cop.
No, but
they had
the people
FBI.
who assaulted police
Listen
officers.
to me. They had FBI agents ushering them into the building. They had FBI go into the building. Those people walking around, they're looking, oh, isn't this nice? They weren't in. They were being ushered into the building.
There's no evidence.
You had a bunch of dirty cops, and frankly, what they did was weaponization of our government.
But sir, there's no evidence of that. More than 1,000 people.
No, there's none. You know what you do? Try looking at the tapes one time.
Would you take it off the table?
Look at the tapes
okay,
one time.
But 172 people did plead guilty to assaulting police officers.
You know why they pled guilty?
Should they be exempt?
Because they told they were going to jail
funds?
for 15 years if they didn't.
Should they?
They pled guilty because they were frightened. They went down. They were ushered into a building. Many of them were arrested without even going into the building.
You'd be okay with them receiving taxpayer dollars?
The people were destroyed by dirty cops and by weaponization. Many of those people should be compensated. Now, with that being said, as I understand it, the weaponization fund was going to set up a group of people, people that could be picked by anybody, fair people, smart people, and they will go on an individual case basis.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the weaponization fund. I love the idea because people like you, the fake, dirty press, the crooked press, people like stupid Biden, he's not smart enough to know what's going on, but people that surrounded him, surrounded his beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office, what they did to the lives of people, they destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing wrong.
All right, just to be very clear, there's no evidence of what you're saying, but let me ask you about Todd Blanche. Let me ask you about Todd Blanche.
Listen to me.
Let's talk about Todd Blanche.
There's tremendous evidence. There's nothing but evidence.
The
election was rigged. It was a dirty election. And it's happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence.
It's happening right now in California. Right now, it's look at what's happening in California.
Where's the evidence to that?
It's
the
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. No, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it. You know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support that?
All I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in California.
Do you think it's appropriate that they have an election, and 5 days later, they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Well,
continue.
You play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. You play right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I got that? Because you have no credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd Blanche.
You have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk about
your elections in this country. We're like a third world country. Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know.
I've sat in the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr. President,
a country can never be great with a dishonest press.
We traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Nora Christine.
It's Rippy muted, but Nora, I'll start with you. Under any circumstances, do you feel like the president, any president, not just Trump, should walk out of an interview with the press?
Absolutely. When you're not allowing him to speak, when he's giving you facts and telling you about something going on dishonest wise with another party and facts, they're rigging elections. Yeah, absolutely. She wasn't allowing him to speak. He's trying to explain why he recommended this fund. Now, I have my issues with the fund. We'll get into that. But nevertheless, how are you going to have an interview and you're not allowing people to speak. Allow him to speak. And he's absolutely right. The press has been nothing but crooked, nothing but unfair in general, especially to President Trump. So yeah, he's fed up. He's tired of them.
Mr. Rippey, I saw you clapping. You feel like Trump handled that well? Oh, I guess you can't hear us. So I'm gonna go to the next clip. Basically,
I think he handled it a lot better than I would have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got a delay. But I'm gonna go to the next clip because Trump said no.
Oh man, what now? Hold on.
Changed because you insisted no new wars.
First of all, I didn't guarantee no war. Why would I have built the strongest military in the world? I built our military. I inherited a terrible military. We had no equipment. We had nothing. I built a tremendous military. Biden gave a lot of it away, but it's still a relatively small portion compared to what I built.
But you said it over and over again, Mr.
Why would
President.
I build a military? Now, I didn't want to use this, but I'm doing you and everybody else a big favor. In the midst of the greatest stock market in history, in the midst of the most successful country, because as you know, in the last term, we were a dead country, Kristen. I know you're a big liberal or a big progressive.
No, I'm just a journalist.
Casso, welcome to the panel. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Craig, what's going on?
How you feel about Trump in this interview? I don't know if you saw it. He walked out, but in one of the parts, he was asked about him not having any more wars, and it seems like he's actually dragging us in more wars.
What I think is, the nicest way I can say it, the movie Sinners, when you have white people outside the barn saying, hey, let us in. We're not bad. We're just going to come have fun with you guys. And then you open up the damn barn door and you let the crook in the house. Donald Trump is who Donald Trump has always been, man, a filthy crook. And I don't know why so many people put their faith in a crook to fix or save or repair America. Now he can be who he truly is. He don't have to get reelected again. So why should he lie? He's just outright telling people just straight up how he feel now. He talking crazy to black reporters all over America. He's talking crazy to the farmers right now. He's storming out of places. He's doing whatever the hell he want to do. He turned the White House into a trap house. He sold some used cars on the front lawn. Every other week they're having a shootout, drive-bys at the White House. Now I'm keeping it real, drive-bys at the White House. He tore the goddamn east wing of the White House down, and he building a nightclub. White people like to call it a ballroom. It's just a nightclub with a bunker in it. This is not just presidents. This is one of the most degenerate Americans in the history of this country. And why people love this man so much, I don't know. But I feel like he's just showing us who he is, Gray. This is who Donald Trump is.
For sure. So Trump was basically saying that the reporters are liberal. So, Mr. Rippey, I'm going to go to you. I'm going to play the clip, but the question is, do you feel like people on the opposite end of the political spectrum can actually interview someone fairly?
Because as you know, in the last term, we were a dead country, Kristen. I know you're a big liberal or a big progressive.
No,
but
I'm just a journalist.
We were a dead country.
All right, Mr. Rippey, she said she's just a journalist. So is Trump unfair trying to put her in a political spectrum?
I mean, she's a liberal journalist. All right, sorry, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. No, she's a liberal journalist. I mean, let's keep it real. I just sent Nora a video of what really happened on January 6th. I mean, the way they spin a narrative, the most powerful thing Trump said in that interview, he won the election by every single metric, consider the fact that it was 94% press against him. And he still won. The press has lost all type of credibility. That's the reason why people are going more towards independent sources. That's the reason why people are jumping on the Trump train and they're leaving the Democrat plantation because they're waking up to this nonsense. Unless you have Trump derangement syndrome and you still fall for the nonsense, like they will ignore certain things, like Barack Obama spending $300 million of the taxpayers' dollars for a basketball court, but talk about funded by donors of a ballroom. You know, it's just the credibility that they lost. And she's a liberal, just like most of the mainstream media. I'm so glad that he's exposing them. He's the one that coined the phrase fake news, which I think is amazing. That's the reason why nobody watches MSNBC, Meet the Press, CNN, none of late night shows, because people are waking up, and unless you decide to stay asleep, which is certain people.
So he was also asked about gas in the interview.
And yet, gas is up, diesel is up.
It's all coming down as soon as the war's over.
Well, 70% of farmers say they can't afford fertilizer. What's your message?
The farmers are doing very well.
Let me ask you, what is your message to farmers, many who support you, but who say they're struggling? Who say they're struggling?
Because there's nobody been better to farmers. You know, I gave farmers last term $28 billion because China took advantage and other people. And you know who paid for it? China. Last term. You know, I had a great first term. I had the greatest economy ever. And you know what? This one's blowing it away.
What's your message to farmers?
All right, Nora, you said the Democrats are crooks. Oh, she froze. Casso, you basically were just talking about farmers and everything like that. This is one of the biggest talking points with the left wing is that gas is an issue. So what is the solution to gas, and why does Trump keep, not trying to basically fix it?
Well, I want to go back to what Mr. Rippey said just quickly, and then I'll answer your question. Our eyes did not deceive us in terms of what happened on J6. I saw cops getting beat with bike racks. I saw white men scaling the goddamn Capitol like medieval knights. They were all in the Capitol, smoking blunts, taking craps on the wall, being degenerates. We didn't just imagine that this happened. It wasn't a bad dream. They stormed the Capitol on January 6th and they tried to overthrow the damn government. You don't need a news reporter to come out and tell you or report on some shit that you can see with your own two eyes. That's how I feel about what happened on J6. Now, in terms of what type of solution we can have in terms of dealing with oil and fuel prices, you go green. You move towards renewable energies. If you understand one thing, you understand that Trump will sway whichever way the wind takes him. I swear, under the Biden-Harris administration, anybody in the EV, electrical vehicle, or anything that did not take diesel, y'all called them pansies, y'all called them chimps, y'all called them chumps, y'all called them everything but the children of God. But Donald Trump will come into office, roll 3 Teslas out in front of the White House and tell you to start buying Teslas, and all of a sudden, people on the right side of American politics absolutely love Teslas and electrical vehicles. Y'all to do whatever Donald Trump tell y'all to do. Nobody has Trump derangement syndrome. We have criminal derangement syndrome in this country, and we want some money spent on us. I know American politics are full of crooks on both sides. I'm not going to act like Democrats are so much better than Republicans. At least Democrats have enough sense to drop a couple dollars out the bag when they rob the bank. The goddamn Republicans are robbing the bank, taking that whole bag, running off with it, coming back, robbing it again, taking that bag and disappearing with it. They refuse to let anything fall out the bag for the American people, and that's the problem that I have with the Republican Party. I say now that, and I want one more thing you said, Mr. Rippey, and you lied. You said that more people than ever are moving towards the Republican Party. That's a goddamn lie. There's been 300 special elections in this country. 285 of those special elections were won by Democratic candidates. We look at 31 seats flipping from red to blue. This is just since Trump took office. Mar-a-Lago went blue. Donald Trump's neighborhood went blue. Donald Trump's neighborhood went blue. And if you're a black Republican man in this country, you should be absolutely embarrassed by the fact that the people in Mar-a-Lago, in that neighborhood, they were more likely or more willing to vote for a white liberal woman than a black Republican man. At some point, black Republicans all across this country are going to have to realize that the token has been spent, the Chuck E. Cheese coins or tickets have been received, and they bought their goddamn prizes. Get out of the boat, black Republicans. You've been used. You've been duped. That's how I feel about that, Mars.
Okay, for sure. So the main thing that Trump's been asked about, everything that probably all of us talk about, because we all talk about politics, is the war in Iran.
Sunday will mark 100 days since the first strikes. Your Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said that the war had concluded. And yet just this week, Iran attacked U.S. allies in the region, calling it retaliation for a set of U.S. airstrikes. Is the United States at war with Iran?
Well, they've been largely decapitated, and I call it a military exercise because people would rather have it called that. It's not a big war for us. It's not. We're the most powerful military in the world. I built it, frankly. I built it in my first 4 years, and I'm using it a little bit in my second 4 years. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their anti-aircraft is gone. They might have built it up a little bit over the last 4 weeks during this little ceasefire that we did at the request of some very good people, very, very fine people from, actually from numerous places, as you know. You know, there are a lot of people involved, but from Pakistan in particular, the Field Marshal and the Prime Minister. And we're very close to having a deal. And if we don't have a deal, we'll do it one way or the other. Either way, we win.
All right, Nora, you can hear me now?
Yes, I'm sorry.
So what's your thoughts on what Trump said about Iran and basically it being a military exercise just overall?
Well, interestingly enough, I was driving down the street of my neighborhood and I see people protesting for freeing Iran. So there are people here that are hoping Iran will be free. This is the one thing I'm very upset with Trump on, but he said no new wars. And unfortunately, this has been a war that's been going on since the 70s and 80s, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. So Iran is a problem, and they've been a problem. Do I think we should have inserted ourselves when we did? No, but he's taking care of a problem that needs to be dealt with. Whether I like it or not, they're a problem. Gas, I thought somebody are saying gas is going to be $6 by July 4th. Gas has went down here. So we are slowly starting to see it go down. However, I want to comment on something. Do I think we are going to see a blue wave in November? Potentially. However, what the Democrats just did this week in California is going to turn a lot of independents off what they did to Spencer Pratt. They stole that election, and that's not right. And this is why Donald Trump won, because the Democrats do what the Democrats do, and they're constantly stealing. They're constantly cheating. Like my girl, that new song, Spend That, Where Am I Scamming Ass Democrats At? That's what the Democrats do. They scam, they steal, they cheat, and this is the problem with the Democrats. However, Donald Trump is not making it any easier. It's going to be real interesting come November. I just wanted to comment on that.
Right, Greg, can I say something?
Go ahead.
So first, I sent you a video of January 6th that I put up there. I know, and I want to talk about a couple of facts. I know that word is not in some people's vocabulary, but when we look at just what happened in 2024 alone, 8,600 counties flipped. 10 different counties in California flipped. California almost flipped this election if it wasn't for the cheating that Nora is talking about, which is completely 100% evident. We saw it happen in Georgia with the election that just came out last year, at the end of last year. We saw what happened here in Arizona with 72,000 illegitimate votes from 2020. Now, if you play that video, what really happened on January 6th, I mean, I know people saw what they wanted them to see, but they'll never go any deeper. I'm telling you, people don't wake up, because a lot of us are waking up. This guy has got more numbers, more people switch over from Democrat. We see 2.5 million people leave the Democrat Party, and 1.5 million went to the Republican Party. We see a mass migration into Florida and Texas, and people leaving California and New York. I mean, the numbers don't lie. People can lie, politicians can lie, but the math always adds up. We see exactly what's going on. More people are waking up to how the Democrats are really playing people.
Okay, so Skeptic, you just showed up, so I'm gonna show a flashback.
Hey, Skeptic.
Right, before the flashback, can I respond to that, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Numbers don't lie. 10 of the last recessions that happened in this country happened under Republican presidents. A Republican president destroyed public education. It's George Bush II and No Child Left Behind. Since Reagan, or right before Reagan, 52 million jobs been created in America. The Republican Party created 2 million of 52 million jobs. When you look at the poorest states in this country, 8 of those 10 states are Republican states, the least educated states in this country. 9 of those states are Republican states. Then you look at the unhealthiest states in America, all 10 of those are Republican states. You look at the fattest states in America, the most obese, donut-eating people in America who don't give a damn about the Medicare and Medicaid system, all in southern red Republican states. So y'all can do this thing where y'all act like the Republican Party is a better option than the Democratic Party. It's not a better option. I would respect black folk more if you just became black conservative independents. We're not going to become Republicans in the South. At any time the Republican Party or Conservative Party has had authority and power over black folk down in the South, we need the National Guard troops to come help us and bail us out and save us. We're not going back to having the Confederacy lead over the South because y'all can't get it together in California, Chicago, and New York.
It's funny because Mississippi is actually beating California when it comes on to education, which is actually one of the poorest state in comparison to the richest state. With that being said, when was the last recession that we actually had in this country? Yeah, besides the one that Joe Biden put us in that they denied because it's actually 3 market failures in a row. When was the last recession? 2008.
Right. Quick response to the first part of what you said. That study coming out of Mississippi was based on fourth graders solely. So I get a babies down in Mississippi in the fourth grade credit for that, but that's not overall
Not true.
education
That's
coming
not
out.
true. I was in a facts to grade right now, and I'll be happy once I
That
play
is,
that video.
I like for you to send that. And I don't care about who had the last recession. I can tell you who had the worst recession in modern history, George Bush II. The Great Recession, they put great in front of it for a reason. It was damn near a Great Depression.
Okay, and what caused that depression? What caused that recession?
It don't matter. It was under a Republican president. He should have done something
true.
about it.
That's not true. It's a thing called the Glass-Steagall Act that was actually passed in 1999, which reversed what happened during the Great Depression or FDR administration. It was a Glass-Steagall Act that was passed in 1999 due to Bill Clinton. All the financial experts already talked about this stuff. Just because it happened underneath George W. Bush's administration.
Put it in the chat, Mr. Rippey. I'm gonna get Skeptic here. So Skeptic, Trump had an interview. Basically, so I'm gonna show a flashback of him walking out. The recent one was way worse. Is it appropriate for a president to walk out of an interview with the press?
I think when your president is delusional that he can't answer questions, and when he said he literally came out and said in another interview, he never said that no new wars was something he was running on. He said that out of his own mouth. Like, the man is not okay mentally. I think that they are trying to do the same thing that they used to do. But I think if you know anything about his family history, they used to have to set up a fake workplace for his father because his father also got dementia. But because they're narcissists, they can't admit that they can't actually have control anymore. So they literally used to fool his father into thinking he was still working, because the man was like that far gone. So, and I think the same thing is happening to him. If you look at mental issues and like how dementia works, it is inheritable. So I think that he is pretty much losing. Like, he's older in age. I don't know if people know that, but he is way out there in age. And I want to say, as far as like the financials, I don't know if you know, but we are in a bubble right now. And the bubble is going to crash. Like, the CPI reports that are coming out are saying that inflation is increasing. The new thing that's going on in the Middle East now, where Israel is back on the attack, is not going to help reduce the price of gas. So if you think that Trump has been beneficial for the economy, then I don't think you're reading enough reports to know that he's not. And that goes for all Republican presidents. One of the things you guys were talking about that is very true, Bush started the Middle East conflict, because whenever 9/11 happened, he literally told everyone to pull together. So yeah, the Middle East conflict was part of the issue why the economy, anytime we have conflict and we are having to engage in conflict, we're losing money, and that's taxpayer money. We are negatively affected by that as far as the economy goes. We put our focus on the military complex, and that's never beneficial to us. It is not our business to be in a foreign country's protecting them and going out and fighting for them. And if anything, this man promised he wouldn't do that. So like, now to come up with an excuse as to why we're doing that, to me, is kind of like miss me with it. Because originally, wasn't it peace through strength? Why are we now out there doing something we said we weren't going to do? And it's not benefiting us. It doesn't benefit us to get in a foreign conflict about something that's not directly affecting us now.
For sure. So this is what Trump had to say about the Obama deal.
President, Iran was the closest to developing weapons-grade uranium after you ripped up the nuclear deal, because there were no guardrails in place.
They were developing it during the nuclear deal.
Right.
You don't know that? Iran, when Obama signed that stupid deal where he paid them billions and billions of dollars, he thought he could bribe them. Listen to me. They were developing a nuclear weapon. That's how they got there. They got all of this uranium during Obama. You know that, don't you? Well, that's how they got there. Don't say this. They got there. They developed it during the Barack Hussein Obama, during his administration.
And they've escalated their development after the deal was wrapped up. But let's talk about the economy. I want to talk about the economy.
If I didn't go in there with the B-2 bombers, they would right now have a nuclear weapon, and it could be that half of the world would be eradicated.
Let me ask you about the economy.
All right, Nora, you attacked the Democrats. So Obama had a deal before Trump comes and takes the deal, and now it seems like Trump can't even get a deal.
Obama was bombing more places than any president in our modern history has bombed. People like to forget about that. I am very upset that they bombed that school in Iran. Let me be clear. But Obama bombed more schools. Obama bombed weddings. Obama bombed parties. Obama bombed
Hospitals.
neighborhoods. The most bombing has been done by Obama. So it's funny. He had a deal and he ripped it up. He ripped it up because it wasn't a good deal. He ripped it up because it wasn't keeping our allies safe. Now I got my own issues with Israel. Let me be clear. But Iran has been a problem. Why do you think we can't get a deal? You think it's just Israel? No, we can't get a deal because the Gulf countries don't trust Iran. The Arab Gulf countries also don't like Iran. It's not just Israel. And I understand and I agree with people's concerns. But the fact is, Arab countries will tell you, my father's Moroccan. I have family in the Moroccan government. They will tell you they do not like Iran. Iran is a problem. So this is not just America or Israel issue. Our partners in the Gulf also aren't happy with Iran. They've been a problem. So, I mean, I feel for Trump because he's in a tough position no matter what he does. At the same time, I'm mad that I voted for him to some extent because I will agree he hasn't helped the middle class. This has just been a distraction to what he needs to get done. And I'm optimistic that this will be over soon. We also have predictions of $6 gas. I don't see $6 gas. So all of these crazy predictions that people are saying have not come true. So I'm still going to hold on and remain optimistic to some extent. And hopefully we'll have a deal by the end of summer.
It seems like the big issue is all of Trump lies.
When you say, I promised, I didn't promise anything. I don't like these endless wars. This is not an endless war.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
So, Mr. Ripper, you're the MAGA person on the panel. What do you say to people that you're trying to convince to be a Republican or to like Trump when they say they can't trust Trump? Trump lies all the time.
Well, I mean, he does lie. Every politician lies. But also, I remember Trump saying, we showed a picture of the Ayatollah's house to him, saying that we will bomb the shit out of you. He said that on stage too. I will bomb the shit out. If you get enough uranium to make some nuclear weapons, I will bomb the shit out of you. He said that plenty of times too. Now, I'm not justified. I'm against this war. I'm against this war, and everybody know how I feel about Israel. But like Nora said, it's not just about Israel. But every politician lies, and this is the one thing that I'm against Trump on. Like, I wish he hadn't did it. I've been talking to everybody. I've been talking to people from Persian people from that's in the artists and military over there, trying to figure out exactly what the hell is going on. Nobody knows. So I like to stay. I stay out of shit that I don't know. I know more than most people about this stuff, but if I'm not 100% factual, I don't talk about this shit because I'm not in the situation room.
But can I just ask you, Mr. Rippey, then did Tulsi Gabbard lie to us whenever she was under oath and said that we had completely obliterated Iran and their nuclear, remember last year in June that we had the conflict where they completely obliterated them? So who was lying?
So. She could have been lying, or she could have thought so. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not in the inside like that. I don't know. She could have lied. She probably lied, or she probably thought they did obliterate it. Then come to find out they actually did it because they actually had 60% of it, which is what they needed, and they actually did kill some people that's U.S. embassy, some soldiers over there in the Middle East. At the end of the day, they were building some nuclear weapons. I don't know. I don't trust Tulsi Gabbard.
I mean, I just feel like somebody is giving us inaccurate information because from what I had understood, and I remember having this conversation on this panel with the new party, being that we had gone out there and completely obliterated their nuclear, I guess, what they had set up in the Middle East. And so why is it that we're back in conflict in an endless war? This is literally what it is. So he's saying we don't benefit from going out into these conflicts, but then literally went out into the conflict. And I just want to say also, for the misrepresentation of what Obama did, the money that Iran received and the agreement that we have with Iran sorry y'all, because I'm outside, is literally what this administration is asking for. The money that was released to them was money that was Iranian money that we were holding because we were trying to come to an agreement with them, right? What this administration is offering to Iran is actually less of a precautionary measure than the Obama administration did. So if anything, we're losing control than what we used to have. So to say that the Obama, the POAS, I think was the name of it, the Iranian deal that Obama had landed is a better deal than we're even trying to get now.
So this is what Trump had to say about the jobs report.
Strong jobs report today that beat expectations.
Not strong. Really strong.
Beat expectations.
By how much? Triple.
172,000 jobs created.
So, Casso, what do you say to people when the jobs report is getting better? Because Trump is always touting the stocks, the jobs, and things like that.
The people or the black people? I'll tell you what I say to black people. You shouldn't be excited. They took 1.6 million jobs away from you and gave you 300,000 back. That's still a net negative in Black America. Our unemployment rate has spiked since Donald Trump took office. No other community has experienced a spike in our unemployment rate. The Black Republicans told us that Elon Musk was a doge genius, running around with a team of genius teenagers doing fantastic things and saving us money. Elon Musk didn't do shit but fire some black women and flee. So I have a problem with Donald Trump's entire administration when it comes to quote unquote black jobs. Donald Trump also told or convinced black Republican people to not see color because America has moved beyond color, yet he can sit up at an interview and refer to something as being a damn black job. How can you not see color but specify black jobs? And if you are specifying black jobs and those jobs aren't prominent jobs, then I have a problem with that as well, because you're acknowledging the fact that black people have been pushed into a certain corner here in American society in terms of employment opportunities, and that in itself is problematic. I think the Trump administration is full of liars. I think our president is a liar, and I think this administration has been attacking Black America and black job opportunity, black job growth since he took office, Mars.
Okay, for sure. So I'm going to go to the next thing, basically, because Mr. Rip, you brought up January 6th, so Trump was asked about January 6th.
Billion so-called anti-weaponization fund. It was going to compensate people who say the federal government weaponized the legal system against them. It's been blocked by the courts, met with opposition from Republicans
and Democrats
in Congress and Democrats.
Excuse me, mostly Democrats.
Mostly
some
Democrats and some Republicans.
Some. Very few Republicans.
Just to be very clear, are you backing off the fund completely, as your acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has said, or are you looking for another avenue to revive the fund?
Let me explain what the fund is.
Nora, does the January 6th deserve a fund? We actually interviewed the January 6th on here. He said he was unfairly targeted.
Listen, okay, let me say this, because she kind of made me mad, because there is facts that there were FBI agents there. That is facts. It's in government reports. Facts that there were FBI agents there. So I see where he's going. But for me, as somebody that's of Caribbean African descent, until we give reparations to all, like FBA people, I don't think they should get it. That's just me. I'm going to be honest with you. You can't say, oh, they deserve it over them. However, his reasoning, the Biden administration did target these people. There were people literally that just were there. Their lives were destroyed. There were people that assaulted police. I don't think those people should get it. Let me be clear. There were people that assaulted police. They should not get it. There were people that threatened to kill unalive Nancy Pelosi and do all sorts of nasty things. They should not get it. But there were literal people that just walked in after the chaos and the commotion, and their lives were ruined. And they were there protesting initially peacefully. So yes, I see where he's going with that. But until you make all people whole in this country, I don't think they should get it. That's just me.
Mars, can I respond to Nora? Nora, I want to say this to you. When a crime is committed, if you are involved in that crime in any way, you are complicit. If we load up the Sprinter van, all 5 of us, and 2 of us jump out and rob a bank, and the rest of us are in the car, and we don't do a thing about it, we don't snitch about it, and we take a little bit of the money and spend it, you go into prison as well. Of course, there were FBI agents at the protest. If I'm not mistaken, they had just walked from a speech that Donald Trump was giving. Why wouldn't the FBI be there? I'm pretty sure the FBI was all over whatever location that it was that held his speech. I'm not going to let these J6s off the hook because I see race, I see color, and I understand America. There's There's no way that a group of black men could have attacked a government building here in America in any facet and not only receive a pardon, but after the pardon receive some sort of reparative process. I just don't see that being possible for black men.
We did during the Summer of Love with the BLM riots. They actually had a fund to bail people out. Here in Arizona, they attacked the Capitol and actually set fire to the Capitol. So, I mean, this happened. I'm not for any type of political violence. I'm not condoning what they did on January 6th, but a lot of them were unfairly treated.
Did they receive a presidential pardon, and did they receive reparations in Arizona for the Summer of Love?
No, but the committee did by Biden, which is unfortunate, which means everything right there. I sent great video how everything started. And
I understand, but that's a false equivalency in my opinion. They did not receive a presidential pardon, and they did not receive reparations in Arizona. That's a big difference.
Oh yeah, no reparation, but the reparations for people who was treated unfairly by the government. What they did receive is the bailout fund from the government.
Okay, so Nora was talking about the California elections, and Trump was talking about that too, about Democrats cheating. So I'm gonna play what Megyn Kelly had to say about it.
No one is going to trust this outcome if those two are eliminated from the general election, given the leads that we've seen. I'm gonna, when the panel's here, yesterday we didn't get to it with Maureen. Today I'm going to get to the actual numbers as we know them so far and get on the record as we go into the weekend with where we think the vote is. If you look at the betting markets, and they don't know anything more than we do. I mean, well, generally they don't. They're all now voting against Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton, even making it into the top two. They don't believe at all that Californians are going to let that happen in one way, shape, or form. So what we're seeing is the Republicans do well on the day of, and then we slowly watch their leads evaporate as the massive mail-in vote from more left-leaning districts gets tabulated. That's such a nice insurance policy, isn't it? Such a nice insurance policy. Don't you worry. If you don't make it in the day of vote, we got you covered. We got you. I mean, we saw that here in Connecticut, where there was film of these Democrat operatives literally stuffing mailboxes full of ballots that they'd managed to get their hands on to try to get that in there. Let's shove it in there. And it just undermines the faith in integrity of elections to allow this kind of voting. I don't care how convenient you want to make it for people. Do we really want to make it that convenient? I mean, these are lazy ass people. If they can't get off their fat asses and get to election polling stations on election day, then we don't want you. Okay, we don't want your vote. Who gives a shit about you? You're too lazy. You're too busy. Sure, to make it down to the polling station on election day. Then get out. Goodbye. You don't get to vote. That's how it always has been. Why wasn't that system okay? Because we needed to widen the field so we could get people too lazy to get down there to have their ballot counted. I mean, it's just absurd. If you don't prioritize the vote, your vote shouldn't be prioritized.
All right, Skeptic. I'm a mail-in voter. For me, I like to read it, research it, take my time. What is your thoughts on mail-in voting and Republicans saying that, this is cheating because it gets tallied at the end?
I think that one thing that I will give to conservatives, like white conservatives and Republicans, is that they do their research. They do look into things, although they may seem like they're ignorant and they speak down to white people because they want that rule vote. They speak to them like they're uneducated. The people that are leading the movement are educated. And there's one thing about them that they will do. They will study minorities and they'll study the Democrats. One of the things that we know, if you look at data, is that mail-in votes overwhelmingly tend to be Democratic votes. And that's the reason why they hate mail-in votes. If you really look at who is putting in the mail-in votes, it tends to be people with disabilities, tends to be people that are veterans. So if you're overseas, you can mail in your vote. If you're in a different country and you're serving this nation, keeping this nation safe, you can still put in a mail-in vote ahead of time so that your voice will still be heard. So they've done their research on this, and that's the reason why they hate mail-in votes, because they know that it doesn't benefit the Republican Party.
For sure, that makes sense. I'm gonna play, if you just got here in the chat, I'm gonna play Trump's walkout again because that's what he talked about it.
The election was rigged. It was a dirty election. And it's happening again right now in California.
Presented evidence.
It's happening
that the
right now in California.
Rigged.
Right now, look at what's happening in California.
To that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California, no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election.
All right, I think everybody has to give their thoughts on this because we're constantly talking about elections. So we'll go to everybody. Mr. Ripley, you're next. What is the solution to have safe elections?
Well, I mean, we do need million voters. I mean, sometimes people can't make it to the polls, which is understanding. Sometimes people are overseas, which is understanding. So I get that. But for me in particular, I don't live in a city called Chandler anymore. My mail-in ballot actually went there during the last election. So people can just automatically get a hold of anybody's ballot and send it in. So, and also I've seen videos of people talking about how they got multiple ballots. And if you dump 24,000 ballots inside of a ballot drop and all 24,000 goes toward one person, that says, I mean, at some point logic has come into play.
Casso, what's the solution? What's your thoughts on mail-in ballots?
I think blockchain technology, and we need to move towards electrical ballots. I just think when anything involving paper, anytime paper is involved, you can cheat. I raised my eyebrows when I found out or figured out that Elon Musk had something to do with the machines behind the presidential election. I think that's extremely dangerous, and we have to move away from that. So for me, it's blockchain technology and a decentralized voting system.
Nora?
I mean, it's as simple as passing the SAVE Act. I don't see the big deal about having IDs. I'm okay with mail-in ballots, but they shouldn't be counted after the date. It should be in by the date of the election. If it's not in by that date, it shouldn't be counted, because we're literally seeing it being done to Spencer Pratt. And you may cheer it on because you hate Spencer Pratt, you hate the Republicans, you hate you hate this person. But until it's done to you, you're not going to like it. So to Castro's point, if Elon was involved, I'm not okay with that, because it may be your candidate today, but tomorrow it might be someone you like and they cheat them, and it's not right. So I do think we need voting reform in this country. I think it should be, like he said, electronic, and I think there should be restrictions on the mail-in ballots.
Okay, so do we have freedom of the press if the president can get reporters fired?
Never worn the uniform, but I've been in combat for this country in Afghanistan and Iraq, Kuwait, been shot at, spent nights in foxholes filling up with water in the desert. I'm not aware that the President of the United States has ever done any of those things for his country. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You become a journalist because you love the First Amendment. You become a journalist because you love the country. And while all the other descriptions that the president used about me might be applicable, not that one. There is no democracy without journalism. It can't be done. And that is why I am a journalist.
Skeptic, what's your thoughts on Scott Pelley being so upset? Because Trump has had these type of beefs with all types of people where they're losing their jobs, or even Trump being affected. And we always talk about how Trump treats reporters. So what's your thoughts on this?
I think he has a legitimate point. And if you look into why he didn't serve whenever he was, I want to say he was a student, he put in that he had spur bones in his heels. So that's the reason why he couldn't serve this country. And so I think it's a slap in the face. And I also think that conservatives tend to be hypocritical, because during the Charlie Kirk deal, we couldn't speak freely on it. Like, that was the most that I said, wow, they were doxing people. They were what you would call a snowflake. Everything they said about the left, conservatives do the same thing. They say they're for small government, but they were okay with the federal government imposing a rule above the governor of California during the whole ICE thing. So I think you have to stay consistent. And I can call the hypocrisy when it's on the left. I can say, like, hey, we're starting to kind of veer off of what we say we stand for. But conservatives tend not to do that. And it seems like everyone is such a coward. Nobody can speak against this president because he will come at you. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, if I can say for one person, and I was the biggest hater of her, you guys heard me yourselves, but she actually spoke out against what he was doing, and they completely cut her off. They started sending her death threats. So she had to lose her seat. Like, anyone who has any guts gets completely cut off from the conservative movement, from MAGA. And I think that's a problem for freedom of speech. You no longer can speak your actual mind. You have to fall into place, or not, you get cut off.
Can I say something right quick, Gray?
Go ahead.
First off, I agree with Skeptic. I mean, obviously there's no freedom of press on both sides. Consider the fact that Mark Zuckerberg even came out and said the Biden administration told him to hide certain things when it came down to COVID, told him to hide certain things when it came down to James. They didn't tell him, they forced him to do it. You couldn't say anything about COVID, otherwise your whole livelihood is in jeopardy. And the right does the same thing. That guy said that you go to be a journalist because you care. You're an American. No, these journalists are biased on the right and the left. You look at all these Fox News fake pundits over there, the same as MSNBC and MS Now. And all of them, they just spread misinformation. They told us that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, with their money laundering scheme with Ukraine and China, was Russian disinformation during the election, and they blocked the New York Post article until after the election. They said, yes, it is true. There is evidence of this, but we were forced to take it down and block it. You couldn't say anything about it. Like, I get kicked off of social media for speaking my mind. And I understand Democrats get the same thing. When you speak about, I don't think people should lose their job because they made a Charlie Kirk joke. I disagree with that. I think everything should be open for anybody to say whatever they want. That's what's great about this country. As long as you're not threatening anyone, that's what's great about this country. But we have to call out both sides. I mean, we were all targeted to the extreme.
So we live in a capitalist society. So it's basically, who's paying the bills. So this is what he had to say about the political bias at 60 Minutes.
Hope is that the leadership of Paramount will say to themselves, okay, this isn't working. We have broadcasts that almost don't get on the air. We have respected journalists saying that there is a thumb on the scale for one political party over another. We have a broadcast which is among the most important in America, the most successful in the history of all of television. It was doing great. So why are we making these changes? We need adult supervision. And at the moment, we don't have it. We have people who've been installed in these jobs who, through no fault of their own, have no experience in television. It's not their fault, but they don't know what they're doing. And there's a subtle political bias that I've never seen at 60 Minutes before, and so, or at CBS News before. And so that is my hope, a return to sanity, a return to honor, a return to courage. We used to have all of those things in abundance, and now we don't. We can save this. It's possible to land this plane. But right now, CBS News, in my view.
Casso, how do you feel about political biasness in mainstream media?
I mean, I think it's all some sort of dog and pony show, man. This is the truth. Well, you can't say too much on social media. I believe we're being governed over by an invisible government. And unfortunately, the only people who can check this invisible government are presidents, congressmen and women, and senators. We have to elect representatives in this country who are not afraid to unalive about the seat or position that they've taken. One Republican that I do have respect for, I don't like him because I generally don't like Republican policies, is Thomas Massey. Because Thomas Massey is willing to speak out and speak up against some of the bullshit. All of us should want that in all of our politicians. This is why I like Jasmine Crockett. Whether you believe Jasmine Crockett is good at her job or not, she's willing to speak up, speak out, and take a risk for the people who she represents. In terms of mainstream media, I think the Trump administration is probably the worst administration in the history of this country in terms of trying to dilute media or skew media. You have to understand, these people put together a deal to buy TikTok because too much information was getting out on TikTok alone. And now when you look at the TikTok platform after this acquisition that took place under the Trump administration, TikTok is more suppressed than it's ever been, man. You cannot speak your mind. What happened to Gaza on TikTok? Gaza has disappeared from the TikTok algorithm. So in terms of who can say what and what political party is restricting our free speech, I think both parties restrict free speech depending on how they can benefit from it in the moment. And I agree with Mr. Rippey. They'll let the story seep out later on. But once that attention span is gone, once the fire is gone, and once the anger is gone around some of these stories, people just tend to forget about those things. We have to change. This country has to change. I just don't feel like the Trump administration. I don't feel like Donald Trump is the one who's going to do it. He's not going to drain the swamp, man. He's one of the beasts in the swamp, unfortunately.
I agree with what Castle said. On the right and the left, but the politicians. I think there are people that are above the politicians too. Like when I went to the Capitol a few months ago, because I went to the White House and I went to the Capitol. There was no American flags outside of people's offices. They all had an Israeli flag or a Ukrainian flag. I'm gonna do a video about this. I've been procrastinating on it, but there are people that's really calling the shots that's above the congressmen, the senators, and even the president of the United States. And it's unfortunate. We gotta wipe it all out and understand that there's people up there that are dividing people that's controlling everything, and it's unfortunate to the point where. She said that Skeptic said Marjorie Taylor Greene get death threats. John Featherman says the same thing when he speaks against the Democrats, and that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. I'm so disappointed in Donald Trump's behavior towards Tom Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene, because I love both of those guys. Okay. So for the people in the comments talking about I want to do a defending Trump, I have criticized Trump a couple of times on this podcast. I mean, y'all are goofy, man. And Robert, you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know nothing about the Dixie Cries. You don't know shit about the parties. Like, chill out, man. Just hop on if you got something to say. Please.
So Scott says 60 Minutes told him to put intentional falsehoods.
Ever worn the uniform?
Oh, that's the wrong one. The exact same one. So Nora, how you do the last clip? Because if you work somewhere, do you just fall in line so you don't get fired, or do you just stick with your morals?
It really didn't occur to you that you could be fired after so many of your colleagues had been let go, after you'd had this, very contentious interaction with your new boss?
Some reporter I turned out to be. I just didn't connect the dots. I mean, was this meeting contentious? Yes, but 60 Minutes is known for two things: a ticking stopwatch and hard questions. And we ask ourselves those hard questions in the shop because they sharpen us and make us better. There was a screening once with Mike Wallace, and Mike and the executive producer and founder of 60 Minutes, Don Hewitt, got into a big argument about a script. Wallace jumps up in the middle of the screening, throws his script up in the air, and yells at Don, "Well, then you write the effing thing." One of those pieces of paper comes down and slices an associate producer across the face. He's bleeding now. He's got a paper cut on his face. That was about a story. The meeting that I was in was about whether 60 Minutes was going to even survive or not.
So you walk in, and what was the energy of the room?
Hostile. Dismissive. Before I could take my seat, Tom Sobrowski said, "This is a firing offense." I was confused. I wasn't sure who he was talking about in the room. But it became plain very quickly that they were talking about me, and they were unhappy about the meeting that had occurred. A meeting that had ended in thunderous applause for me, if I may say so, because somebody had stood up for the broadcast.
Nora, would you have stood up, or you would just...
Boy, it must be hard when you got a Mossad agent for your chief. So y'all know Barry Weiss is the one running CBS News. She's 42 years old. This man is in his 70s, and she's running the show. She's not qualified. She's a joke. You saw the interview she gave, that softball question she gave to Erica Kirk. That was a mess. She is not qualified. Okay. So to answer your question, I feel bad for him. He is an established, respected journalist, and what they did to him is wrong. Kim said it literally.
Yes,
So
Kim, thank you.
I feel bad. No, so to answer your question, no, he doing the right thing. He better just go be like his boy Don Lemon, go do some independent journalism. To Rippy's point, that's the future, and move on. Walk away and move on and hold your integrity. I feel bad for the man. He was literally crying.
If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. Skeptic, what's your final thoughts?
I think it was a really good live, and I want to say that I think that Carmelo Anthony should be found innocent. I think if anything, that should show people. I've spoken a lot about the systematic racism that still exists. If you haven't looked into it, I think that you should go look into it and how they're being unjust about it. And we'll see you back on Wednesday for another live.
For sure. Casso, what's your final thoughts?
Well, I'm going to say this, man, in terms of what's going on with media right now, how Trump is reacting or acting towards reporters. I think all of us, Democrats, Republican, independent people, we should be fighting for decentralized social media platforms. Moving into the future, we're going to be able to get our information unbiased on social media. If we allow these large corporations and large entities to begin purchasing platforms like TikTok, they're going to do the same thing with TikTok that they've done with Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, and all these other stations. They're going to dilute the message. They're going to groom the message, and they're going to make us believe what they want us to believe. So whether you're a Democrat or Republican, man, you have to be an advocate for anything that's decentralized, especially when it comes to media. So all of us, we have to rally around keeping social media free and open.
For sure, and thank you again for coming, Casso. Mr. Rippey, what's your final thoughts?
I say social media is where it's at, man. Make sure y'all follow everybody that was on here, even if you disagree with these people, because it's good to hear other sides of the story. Because listen to the mainstream media, you're only gonna get what the people above, the people that's in mainstream media want you to hear, and it's unfortunate. So I love to have dialogue with people that I disagree with, and I love for people to actually watch and hear and learn and follow everybody. But I'm the person that comes with the facts.
For sure. Okay. Nora, what's your final thoughts?
Thank you to our team. Thank you to Skeptic and Rippy and Gray. Thank you to Casso for coming. I appreciate you, Casso. Casso, we may not agree on everything, but I do think he is a young future leader of the left, the Democrat Party, or the left side of things. So definitely go give him a follow. Rippy is the future of the right, so make sure you give him a follow. But guys, the reality is this: if we keep allowing elections to be stolen, like what we saw with Spencer Pratt in LA, it's only going to be the slow end to democracy. So just like we need to have free speech, we need to have free and fair elections. I think the SAVE Act needs to be passed. If we don't demand clean voter rolls, same day counting, voter ID, and regulations on mail-in ballots. I'm not saying I'm against mail-in ballots, but there needs to be regulation. If not, again, we are going to see the end of democracy. But come back tomorrow night. We will be talking about the Carmelo Anthony case in full detail. We will have people on both sides, so it'll be spicy. Simple Black Theory will be coming. So if you guys are a fan of his, he'll be back tomorrow night. And we'll also be talking about something that is happening over in Europe with an island that Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump is trying to buy. It is, the people over there, they are not having it. So we'll be breaking that down too. So please come back tomorrow at 8.
Nora, I had to come back quickly to say this. I'm not a Democrat. I'm registered independent. I always classify myself as being independent. Most Black people stuck on the left side of politics right now, so I find myself on the left side more often than not. But not a Democrat. I'm an independent.
I'm sorry, Casso. I only thought you were a Democrat because you guys are getting fired up when Kim was talking about the Democrats that night on live. So
I get fired up when people talking shit about Obama, but then again, Obama is Black. So
I understand. You're for Black people. I get it.
Yeah, I'm for all people, but I speak.
I just followed you, Casso.
Yeah, appreciate it, Mr. Rippey. Appreciate you, Mars and Nora.
Sure, most definitely. Great show, guys. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night. Thank you.
Sisters,
We shall not yield to tyranny.
our cause just, we will prevail. The fight
Hello,
for our
Mr.
rights.
Buffs. Ready for a journey back? Look at this encampment. The spirit of 76 is alive. Lobby at this
Hello,
point,
history.
shame on you. Shame on you. Because we are being played as the American people. Our money is funding a war that we don't need to be in. I shouldn't be okay with it. So as long as I have breath in my body and a mic to use, I will be speaking out against this.
A true patriot savors these moments, but the fight for liberty calls.
The economy, we have a global economy. That's why we're a number one economy in the world. I know that a lot of people want to paint the horrible view of America, but, you know, go live somewhere else and then tell me America's bad.
Patriotism is all about. Look at these flags. They represent our fight for liberty. This is
so
American.
freaking crazy to me that we have an conflict with Iran before a single person from the Epstein files has been arrested on American soil.
The hour our liberty is at hand. For freedom is bravo. Brothers
I
and
was
sisters.
working, man, you know, but it's good to see Rippy out there handling business, man. And again, hey, that's a lot of black Trump supporters, man. I mean, it feels good to see that, man. So
My fellow patriots, the hour of decision is upon us. Let us march forth with courage to secure our liberty.
A real quote. People are getting sick of it. The moment a celebrity steps slightly outside the leftist approved narrative, they get attacked. Chili from TLC gets heat over allegedly donating to Donald Trump.
For liberty. The British advance. We must act.
Our supplies are low, but morale is high.
Then we fight for liberty.
Pain's work captures the spirit of we fight for independence.
The
Welcome to my
that said they were anti-war. I think they said no new wars. Yeah, they voted for a president that was not going to start any new wars. And what's funny to me is that not only were you lied to, not only did this man start this and get out of the
freedom. Greetings from the encampment. The spirit of liberty is strong. We will fight for our rights and our freedom.
Just in order to get the Greater Israel Project accomplished, you have to kill people. That's why it's wrong. Killing people is wrong. Full stop. So you can try to make sense of it with, well, it's a threat and this and that. There's no greater threat than the United States empire.
Vocabulary up, because I'm throwing out words like hubris, acquiesce, verbose. What are you going to do about the dichotomy of the nuance?
To the encampment for liberty.
And what I've learned, and I'm not a liberal or a Democrat. I voted for Trump the first time, but he's become a politician. He lies like all the other politicians. He deceives like all the other politicians.
Endures through every change and challenge. We stand at the dawn of liberty, unshaken by the trials ahead. Our cause in
doing. I'm going to go out on the limb and say anybody that sits in that oval does not like Americans. They love the United States, though, which is the politics, but they don't love the Americans. Americans are farmers. Americans are mechanics. Americans are school teachers. Americans are mom and pop businesses.
And grabbing! Soldiers, the enemy is near.
Not only do I love my FBA fam, my Black American fam, my Black people on code, you know, my people that's allies with us, as part of the fam. I love y'all. I love my country too. You feel me?
The cause to victory.
To victory. These pastries are wonderful.
Indeed, but we must stay vigilant.